Rideshare Commando here. And you know what? Just because I've got some extra time driving, I want to fill you in on something else. Credit. Alright, so Uber has this program where you can finance a car with us. Seriously. These guys, I swear, they're like a fat person trying to push cakes and then eating them themselves. If you have bad credit and you need to go to Uber to get a car, well then guess what? You're not getting a car from Uber. And that's a fact. I'll tell you a bit of a personal story. In the past, I've sued 3 credit bureaus that report within the US. I can't name names because that was part of the settlement. So, what happened? When you dispute, that's it, you dispute. Nothing to it. You can't do anything about it. But, if you read the FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, you'll see that in the re-investigation process, they have to do something different than the original investigation. Well, they've got ACDVs, which is, it's a form that they send out saying, well, is this thing valid? And they send it to the alleged creditor. By the way, alleged creditor. So, there was, I forget what it was, Progressive Insurance. I paid them in full. I have proof of it on my bank statements. But they're saying I owe them $80. Guess what? That one thing on my credit dropped my credit, I think it was 20 points or something like that. It was ridiculous. So, I disputed them. And it stayed on because they just asked Progressive, hey, is this valid? And Progressive said, gee, I think so. And they said yes. So when they did the reinvestigation, guess what? I submitted a reinvestigation and I said, you must obtain the original contract and you must obtain a listing of the billing. So basically a ledger. And if Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion do not do that, then they are liable and must remove the item. So what they did was they sent out the same ACDD, and basically that was their reinvestigation process. Well, the Third Circuit Court, Third Circuit Court, if I remember right, it was the third or fourth. There was a judge that said the reinvestigation process cannot be identical or seem to be identical to the original investigation process, and it is incumbent upon the credit bureaus to exceed their original investigation. That was the sum of it. I would actually recommend you look it up. Look up applicable case law. So, they didn't do this. And one of the credit bureaus, of the 3, did not respond to me within 30 days, which is part of the FCRA. They must respond to a dispute or a reinvestigation within 30 days. So, one of them didn't respond within 30 days. They paid me $1,000 when I sued them. I took them to small claims. And the other 2, they ended up settling and taking off that plus one other thing that was on there that was frivolous. Plus, I had an item on there that was over 7 years old, which, I mean, at the time I was a young kid. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And it was probably applicable. But, I mean, that was back when I was 21 years old. So 9 years ago and 7 years, a little bit over 7 years before I actually filed this whole dispute thing. So it was on there. I was 21, and I was the latter part of 27 when I filed. That's right. So, long story short, took them to small claims, and they're going to try to pressure you out of it. They're going to say, well, this is frivolous. You can't do that. Get out of here. Don't make me get the hose. They're going to hit you with everything that they can, and they're going to send an actual agent out. And the judge will usually order you to what's called mediation, which is pre-trial. Okay, you guys work out your problems, all right? Stop bickering like children. So in mediation, I stood my ground, and we came to terms. They removed a couple things, and I was like, okay, that's fine. And one of them agreed to pay me $1,000 because they violated the 7-year rule. And I told them about this when I did the reinvestigation. So, long story short, they did it again. But this was for, it wasn't Comcast or Cox, it was another internet provider back when I was in Chicago. I turned it off, and apparently it never turned off. And of course there's a fraud statement on there, but TransUnion just exceeded the 30-day rule for responding about reinvestigation. So, because I don't actually have any pending litigation yet, I likely will take legal action, but that has yet to be seen. I have to offer them the ability. I'm going to offer them. I don't have to. But I'm going to offer them the ability to respond and say, okay, you violated this. What are you going to do about it? But, I mean, one thing on your credit can take you from a 640 down to a 610. And that's not good. It can take you from a 710 to 690. Okay, those changes are significant. And yes, I've suffered those changes. In fact, in one case, I dropped almost 100 points until I got something resolved. And it was just stupid. It was a health thing from when I had to visit the hospital because I confused panic attacks with asthma attacks and rolled in Obamacare, or the Affordable Health Care Act, which, by the way, it was awesome while it lasted. So, end all be all, read the FCRA, and don't be afraid to take on these big companies. I've filed 7 lawsuits so far. I'm on the way driving right now to file an 8th. I've won all 7. Once you know the law, and once you can prove empirically, once you have data, and once you have paperwork, and paperwork is called recourse. So any evidence you have is called recourse. Once you have recourse on your favor, yes, lawyers are going to try to punk you. Companies are going to try to punk you. Don't let them. Stand your ground. I've done it. I've won every time. But also know your case before you walk in. There was one case that, I mean, I couldn't prove it. I couldn't. It was a $300 bill that it was with, I think it was a water company, if I remember right. It was about 4 years ago. And I couldn't prove my stance. I had no paperwork. I didn't keep a receipt. So because of that, yeah, they won. I paid them off, got out my credit. But, I mean, sometimes you gotta pay your dues if you don't keep good accounting records. Anyway, this is just me telling you about how I fought the credit bureaus and how I've previously settled with them and how I'm about to take them on again. So hopefully this helps you. Anyway, excuse me, Rideshare Commando out.